Welcome everybody to another edition of the Hurry Up. I'm your host of Don Juan Sports, Adam. Well, the football season is finally over. The roller coaster ride that is an NFL season is done, culminating in a victory for the New York Football Giants. If you are a Giant fan, you finally can settle your stomach. You finally can relax. You finally can say, and you can also say, you're now the new champs. You didn't think you were going to get there. They downed you, but you're the champs. And if you're a Giant fan, you enjoyed that parade and that ceremony, enjoy it. Enjoy it. You know why? Because they don't come often, although the Giants you've had 2 and 4 years, they don't come that often. If they did, everybody would win when they don't. And it's a roller coaster ride, and it was fun, and you really should be proud of yourself as a Giant fan. For the ride that you went through and everything that team went through with the injuries and with the coach about to be fired and all this asinine things that were going on, they happened. And now you're here, and you are where you need to be. World champions. Bringing it back to New York. Now that the NFL is over, unfortunately, and we have to wait till next September for the games to count, the fun stuff does begin in terms of off-season, who you're going to bring in, who you're going to bring. I'm not just talking about the Giants, I'm talking about in general. In general, in the NFL, the offseason is a very interesting part of your team and your team's dynamic because, A, everybody's 0-0. You know the defending champs are, but everybody's 0-0 right now. B, you look at your team and you're saying, what can we add? What pieces to the puzzle can we add to get to what the Giants did or emulate what the Patriots did and become an elite squad? That's what you're looking for. How do you do it? Blueprints in the NFL. That's what it's a copycat league. Most leagues are like that. So this is a fun league. You got the combine coming up at the end of this month. You got free agency starting in the middle of next month and the trading deadline. And then you have, obviously, the April draft and then OTAs and things like that. So you got a lot to look forward to in the spring. Also, with all this comes baseball and, basketball is going to heat up. The playoffs and the NHL playoffs are going to heat up, which brings me to my next point. The NBA. Okay? Before we get into the two local teams, I just want to present a trade to Knicks fans out there. Chris Bosh for Tyson Chandler. I had a discussion the other day with a friend at a local restaurant, and he was saying that the Knicks should trade Tyson Chandler for Chris Bosh. Dumb trade, first off. Here's why. And follow me, Knicks fans. You know it's a dumb trade. I don't know why this guy claimed he was a Knicks fan, but said this trade. First off, Chris Bosh is the third option on his team. Second off, you just paid $60 million to get Tyson Chandler. There's no way you're going to give him up that quickly. And he's producing on your team. He may not give you the numbers that Chris Bosh is giving you, but he's producing on your team. Second off, you have that player in Amari Stoudemire. The only thing is, the only scenario I might think of is Chris Bosh for Amari Stoudemire, only because of healthier knees. But Amari used to be the best, pick and roll guy in the game. You used to give him the ball, he used to take 2 steps and dunk. After he had microfracture surgery, hasn't been the same. Which is going to lead us to another point I'm going to make after we talk about the local teams. So after you heard that asinine trade, Knicks fans, I want to hear what you have to say. Because I think that would be a dumb deal for the Knicks, especially since you're going to be getting the same player, and you don't want 2 of the same player. I can tell you right now the reason the Knicks are having trouble is because you have 2 ball hawks. But speaking of the Knicks, they got Jeremy Lin, and he's the new sensation. Lin Nation, as they're saying, Lin Sanity, all in, all in, get it? So Knicks fans are excited. And the reason they're excited is because of what this point guard brings. He may not be a great point guard. He's playing well, but he may not be a great point guard, but you need a true point guard. And what I was telling friends and what I've been telling what Knicks fans and what the Knicks have lacked is a true point guard. That's why they're, Baron Davis. A true point guard is what Jeremy Lin is. He's not going to be the first option. He's looking to pass. He's looking to dish. He's looking to get assists and set other people up and other scorers rather than himself. When you have Tony Douglas and Amon Shumpert, those guys are 2-guard hybrid. They have ball handling, which means they can handle the ball, they can cross over, they can do a lot of things with the ball, but they are not necessarily facilitators. Allen Iverson was the catalyst of all this. He wasn't necessarily a point guard because of his stature. They made him one. But if you bring in somebody who's a true point for Allen Iverson. Allen Iverson can do what he wants to do and run around the floor. That's exactly what the Bulls need over in Chicago for Derrick Rose. He's a great point guard. But if you put him in with who's C.J. Watson, who's now starting to emerge that he can handle the offense, if you put him in with C.J. Watson and let Rose roam around, it allows Rose to be more dynamic and more deceptive on the defensive end. He has less work to do and he gets less exhausted. Jeremy Lin is working out for the Knicks because he's knowing where the passing lanes are. He understands D'Antoni's offense. D'Antoni's offense, let's be honest, it's not a half-court game. It's a full court, run up the floor, shoot a shot, run back down the floor, hopefully play defense, hopefully they miss. That's what their offense was and that's what their offense has always been. That's what they've been in Phoenix. I don't know why people don't understand that. So, Jeremy Lin's going to do well in the system because he's a true point guard. Moving on to the Nets. The Nets have a true point guard, but they don't have an offense. See, the difference between the Nets and the Knicks right now is, well, the Nets stink, but and have lack of talent, but they have no offensive flow. They have no offensive flow and no identity. They don't know what they're doing out there. They stand around. They watch Darren Williams. They really miss Brook Lopez. Believe it or not, they really miss Brook Lopez. If you have Brook Lopez in there, he does a lot more than just get rebounds and score points. He makes people hesitate. It's just like in football. When you don't necessarily have to have a great run game, you have to have an effective run game to keep the linebackers and safeties honest. In this case, you need to keep the power forwards and centers honest. Like, this guy can score. He can hit his 12-foot jumper. I need to defend. That's going to open up a lot more things for Darren Williams and that team. Plus, they need Marshawn Brooks, who's a slasher, and then you have Anthony Morrow, who's a shooter. And this allows you to open up the defense. So with those things working hand in hand, the Nets will be better off. This has been another edition of the Hurry Up. I'm your host, Don Juan Sports, giving it to you the way it should be given. We're going to get into more basketball later and into next week. We'll see how Jeremy Lin does. We'll follow up with that. Congratulations to the New York Giants. Hold your heads up high because you are the champions of the football world, and nobody can take it away from you. See you soon.